Hello and welcome to the United Community Channel. Welcome to United Community Podcast, another episode. We're back again this week and we've got plenty to talk about, even though it's been the international break and it seems like there's not a lot going on. We do have an awful lot to talk about. We're going to talk about the international break specifically, guys, and how maybe beneficial it has been to Manchester United. If anyone was listening to the Man United Daily podcast today, I did speak about it. Players returning from injury, and that little break has done us good, I think. We're going to talk about Ahmad returning as well. A little cryptic message on his Snapchat a couple of days ago, and there has been reports suggesting he'll be back before the end of the season. We're going to talk about the goalkeeper situation. Reports coming out about Andre Onana. Is he moving on? Are United going to try and replace him? And then we'll get into all of the transfer news as well. Frimpong, as you can see by the title in the video, Frimpong has been linked with Man United and supposedly some communication has been made. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. And we have the guys, as always, on that side. We've got Chris, and then further on, then we've got Ben. Good to see you guys. How we doing? All good?
Good.
You're all good, mate, yeah.
I know when we do this intro and I say how we doing, all good, it's as if I haven't been speaking to you, but we have been speaking for the last 5 minutes before we went live. So it's all for show, you know what I mean? The illusion. But anyway, guys, let's jump into it. Let's talk about the international break first and foremost. Chris, I mean, look, I do not like the international break. I don't like the football. I think it's boring. You had a terrible result as well, by the way, against Panama. So
Canada.
And Canada, yeah. So, all of this positivity around the World Cup coming up for you. It's lucky you're hosting it, because
exactly we wouldn't be in if we were hosting. It's
yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest, it speaks volumes about Mauricio Pochettino. Like, I think he's not what everybody thinks he is. And he puts out all this, positive. It's like there's nothing positive. Like,
yeah.
But here for the international break to touch on is all the ex-players, Tim Howards, Alexi Lawless, Landon Donovan's, they're blaming all the players. Just like at United. It's like, at this point, it's not, the players have gotten a manager sacked already. They're about to get another manager sacked already before the World Cup. Like, and basically they're saying if they don't win the Gold Cup, almost why even show up?
Yeah,
if people are here, I don't know if you guys saw, they released the cost of the tickets for the World Cup.
$400 and something was it for the cheapest one?
No, $327.
$327. Okay,
$327, but that's nosebleed seats.
Yeah,
and the one guy I saw said he got category 2 seats in Qatar, and they were $250.
Yeah.
So we've jumped 100. Like, it's just crazy. Like, and then like box seats. Not that they're $4,000 a person.
How many of them have you got?
None. I gotta see. Miami's 90 minutes away. Depending on who comes there, we'll go to a match there or something like that. But like,
yeah,
I mean, I don't know if it's gonna stick to that cost. I mean, but it's
surely something will have to be done about that. I mean, there'd be nobody going.
No, I mean, it's gonna be nuts. I mean, people will go. People will find. I mean, we got people in the United States paying over $3,000 to go see Taylor Swift. So people will find the money to go.
And I think as well, I suppose the accessibility of America is probably going to be, a deciding factor where people are going to come from all over the world to watch, and they're going to pay, $300, $400, whatever it is for any.
But that's it. But $300-$400, Jack. That's like, I mean, you're going to have to watch the game with binoculars. Like, you can't see anything. Like, it's And I mean, a lot of people don't understand. These aren't real football. These are American football stadiums. Like, I mean, the capacity of these are 100 to 125, if not more. So, like, I've been to Miami Dolphins Stadium, Hard Rock Stadium, and I've sat up top, and it's even for an American football game. You're like, I can't I can't see anything. Like, you're just there to be there,
Yeah, absolutely. But talk to me about the international break then in general, Chris. Obviously we want to, get specific about Manchester United and maybe how beneficial it has been. We're looking at, obviously, Mason Mount was on the bench before the international break. There's talks of Luke Shaw now being back on grass, Harry Maguire, Kobbie Mainoo, all back on grass. I think the international break, while we did discuss it, I think, was it on last week's show, whether it was a good time, at the time it came. I think an awful lot of it has been positives in terms of, it's going to be a very busy run-in and a very important run-in for United. We need all hands on deck.
I agree. I mean, I think it's positive for us. It's negative for some other clubs. I mean, like we play Forest on Tuesday. Forest had 14 players go on international duty. I mean, I don't know how many we had, maybe.
And they're playing FA Cup on Saturday.
Yes. They play Saturday, Tuesday, and I mean, I think it's beneficial just because of where we were. Manu out, Mount on the verge of coming back. Maguire was out. Luke Shaw. Well, I just kind of, that's like
depth in the squad. Depth in the squad.
Yeah. Depth in the squad. He can get the water bottles and throw them out to the lads and be done with that. But like, I can't depend. I mean, let's just be honest. You can't depend on him. He hasn't played all season. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, if he was standing in front of me, I'd tell him the same thing. So it's just like, I can't depend on you. But I mean, I think for us, it's beneficial. I think for us, it's, Aiden having the extra time to be able to get healthy, and Ahmad being able to get healthy and not going, with the injury, not going on international duty and everything like that for, what is it, the Ivory Coast, I think he plays.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and so, I mean, I think it's beneficial for us. And, I mean, getting guys back, and I know not all of them will be back, but, Kobe Mainu not being able to go is positive for us, and everything like that. So I think it's a positive. The drawback is now you got to try to fit everybody together again. We were playing so well with what we had. So now how do you make them gel at that point? So I think that's the only negative I can see.
Yeah. Ben, what about yourself? Obviously, at the end of I suppose last week, we're going into the international break with the likes of Highland scoring a goal, Garnacho scoring a goal after big spells of not getting in. Is there a concern that maybe, it might take a game or two to get the ball rolling again, to find our feet, to get maybe up to speed after the international break? Is that a concern?
There's always that concern there, isn't there? But then look at it the other way around. It's an extra couple of weeks of had training together. Yeah. So when you've been saying about them gelling together and stuff like that, they've had them 2 weeks where they've been training where they can. Yeah. And the bench is going to be stronger with the players coming back into it. So it's more positive than negative.
Yeah, and Amram has always spoke about that, hasn't he? Like, the more training time he can get with these players, the quicker we will see maybe the adaptation of how he wants to play.
Yeah, well, we've seen that, haven't we, just before the international break, so we'll just hope it carries on from there. Yeah. It's like you say, the form that we had, normally international break comes, oh, God, but I think this time it's actually a positive one for a change.
Yeah, absolutely. Players returning, Chris, obviously you said you'll have to try and fit them all back in again, but I think it's a healthy maybe headache for Ruben Amram to have, of course, going into the run-in, and obviously we've heard over the last maybe day or so about Amad Diallo. He put up a cryptic message on his Snapchat page, about, with the egg timer and, soon and so on and so forth. And there's been a lot of reports suggesting that he has made positive progress in his rehab over the past 2 weeks, focusing on strength, recovery work. United aim to have him back on the pitch within the next month, with his recovery progressing ahead of schedule. Obviously it's really, really positive if we can get him back before the end of the season, given the fact that he's been probably our best player this year. Is there a concern though about rushing him back and getting Ahmad back on the field too early? We seen a little bit of that, didn't we, last year with, wasn't it, Lisandro Martinez, when he had that first injury, rushed him back. We don't want him to re-injure himself, do we?
No, but I mean, I think that's, to answer your question, no, we don't want to rush him back. But at the same time, I trust in, I can't say I trust in the medical staff, but I trust in Ruben Amram that he seems like he's always done right by the players and not rushed them into the squad or just automatically stuck them back in and said, hey, okay, play 90 minutes and then play 90 minutes 2 days from now. Like, I think he has a very good feel about it and how he wants to do it. And I will trust in the fact that he will make the right decision at that point, and let's be honest. Is it a good morale boost for us? Yes. Are we going to get in the top 10? No. So it's just like, it's better for the fans and everything. And it's, but I think.
Well, I think that the fact that the league is, or the fact that basically it's Europa League or bust for us, that we can potentially pick and choose the games that he plays, i.e.,
Yes.
the Europa League games.
And that's why I think Amarin will make the right decision. Like he'll play more in the Europa League games, and he won't play in the Premier League games, and you'll see him sit for that. And of course, you're gonna hear in the news, oh, here he goes, he's and everything like that. But I think it's just gonna be, I mean, like anything, we have to prioritize what's important to us, and Europa League is important to us, and it's gonna be. I mean, we're not gonna have him for this next round of Europa. It looks like so. Hopefully we can make it through, and then we'll have them for the quarterfinals or the semifinals.
Semis. We're in the quarters now.
We'll have them in the semifinals. So I think that's important. I think that's, again, like I trust in Amarin and that he's going to do the right thing, and I think he knows where he needs to. I think he knows what's important. By hook or crook, like it's, what we have going for us right now is Europa, and that's it.
Yeah, 100%. D says, never say never. Top 10 is still in reach. There we go. And Waza says, if we get into the semi-final of the Europa League, then rushing Ahmad is a good risk to take if it means we have a better chance of winning the competition. By the way, Leon with Fonseca is a very good team. I did see today that they actually have one of their main, is it Fofana? I think has a knee injury for them, and he's going to miss the first leg.
Yeah, that's what I read. But have you looked at the Lyon team? Like, they're all ex-Premier League players.
Oh, are they? Yeah.
Minus, like, I think 3. Like, Maitland-Niles. Like, I mean, if you look at their squad, it's like Matic plays for them. Maitland-Niles plays for them. Like, there's a bunch of ex-Premier League players, like a lot of ex-Arsenal guys. Matic plays for them.
Even more reason to go out and fucking beat them.
Exactly. But like their average age is like 31.
Okay.
30.
Right.
So they're an older team. So I mean minus Turkey and a couple guys that are young. Everybody else is 29 to 32.
You speak highly of that Turkey guy as well, don't you?
I love him. He's a good player. He's
center mid, is it?
What's that?
Center mid.
Yeah, he's a 10. He's a 10. Yeah. I mean, I think in the last couple of weeks, that the other kid from Turkey, Yildiz, has been mentioned from Juve. He's 19-year-old. I mean, Turkey's only 21, so it's not like he's old. So like I think he's what we need at a 10, like, because he's a guy that can carry the ball forward. Like he's got the pace, he's got the dribbling, he's strong in dribbling. Like he's a big kid, so like you can. He's going to fend guys off and everything like that. And he's good in tight spaces. And that's what we lack at the 10 position. We don't have people that are really good in tight spaces, like in the center. And that's what I think we need. So
the D says, Chris, we get it. You have the same agent.
I've watched him. I mean, I like him. I really do. I mean, he's a good player. And
well,
Leon is in financial trouble. So like they were talking about only having to. You could buy him in January around 19 million. So he's relatively inexpensive, which for Ineos, it's like, hey, that's win-win.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. But I've got to say, I'm excited about the run-in. I really am. I think we're hitting some I won't say good form. We're hitting some decent form at the right time, I think, and especially with the Europa League. And I mean, Leon are absolutely there for the taking, and a team we should be beating. I think the main probably challengers on our side of the draw is going to be Athletic Bilbao. If we do get to the semi-final, it's probably going to be them. And I think they're actually favourites to win the competition. But I think an awful lot of that is down to the fact that, the final is in their home stadium as well. But yeah, I'm really excited about it, I have to say. Ben, I mean, is it important, with the players coming back now, that rotation is key for Ruben Amorim in the run-in? Again, I never like to say, sack off the league, because, each position higher up you finish in the league, it's an extra 4 million in prize money at the end of the year. And when we're talking about going into a transfer window, looking to sell players, to buy, and, where every penny counts, surely you can't just sack off the league, and rotation will have to be key for Amorim between now and the end of the season.
Yeah. I won't say rotation as such. To me, the players coming back, it's good to rest the players that had much time to rest.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they should start, but never happen. Say we go 3 or 4 goals up in the game. Yeah. We can ring the changes, can't we?
Remember them days.
Yeah. 3 or 4. But obviously, like you say, you can pick your games where you're putting the players in. Like Shaw, nobody wants Shaw, but if he's fit, I'll go and play that game for us.
Yeah, 100%.
If you know Europe's the next game, you've got the players that can go and play in the Premier League and be like, you have the week off this week.
Yeah. Chris, you're nodding. Obviously, you agree.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I was just looking at the Lyon roster. I pulled it up. I mean, you got Lovren, the defender from where was he at? His Arsenal. Matic, Lacazette, Veretout, Tagliafico, Corentin Tolisso, Maitland-Niles. They're all Premier League.
No wonder they're in financial wreck. They're probably giving those guys some decent money just to, to be playing in the French First Division. Yeah. Wow. But yeah, look. Anyway, guys, look. Let's move it on and get away a little bit from talking about the international break and players returning and so on and so forth. Players that are there at the moment and that are, maybe a little bit uncertain about their future going forward. And a big one is Andre Onana, the goalkeeper. And, we've had our say, Chris has had his say, an awful lot about him. And look, there has been reports over the past couple of days, some suggesting that Amram has enough of him. He's not impressed by him. Others have suggested that there's links with Saudi Arabia. Reports today are saying that Andre Onana is going to stay and fight for his place. However, he would potentially leave if United told him he was no longer wanted. Chris, again, look, you've been looking into this for us in terms of if we do get rid of Andre Onana in the summer, who could we realistically replace him with? And I know probably the goalkeeper, and again, I mentioned it this morning on the daily podcast that regardless of the priority of where we need a new goalkeeper, if needing a new goalkeeper is bottom of the priority list, if a goalkeeper becomes available that improves your team, you've got to be there and you've got to be in for him. Give us your opinion. For anyone who doesn't know, give us your opinion on Onana and any potential replacements that we could look at in the summer.
I mean, I am not impressed with Onana. I mean, I think, and I've said this many, many times, his positioning is awful. His angles and everything like that. Anybody who's ever played goalkeeper knows that. He's so in. He guesses more than he reacts, and everything. And if you just watch him when we do penalties, against Fulham, he's diving before they even take the penalty.
He's doing a David Ray on it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and I get it. You're 50-50 if you're going to get it. But Bayender, when you watch him against, he's doing things he's reacting and trying to save the ball. And I'm I'm a fan of Bayender. I mean, I would let Onana go, and if it's not a priority, maybe you bring in a young goalkeeper like Lucas Chevalier from Lille. I mean, he's young, 19 years old. He could compete and everything like that.
Is there I honestly think, Chris, is there a concern with a 19-year-old though coming in and taking the reins as the number one at United?
I'm not saying he take the reins though, but okay. I only say that because if you want to go within I have a list of young guys and I have a list of established guys. Because the problem I have with Ineos right now, it seems like all they want is 19, 20, 21-year-olds.
Yeah.
When we look at all the transfer news and everything like that, it's always about this guy that's 19, this guy that's 20, this guy that's 18, this guy maybe 21. You very rarely, besides Osimhen, you very rarely hear about them going after someone that's really established.
Yeah.
And that's my issue with it. So if you want to go young, but if you want to talk about established guys, I mean, Diego Costa from Benfica. I mean, he's Portuguese.
I think he'd be number one on everybody's list.
He'd be number one on everybody's list. He's solid. When we were talking about Onana, people were talking about getting Diego Costa at that point. Now, is he going to come cheap? No. He's going to be 40 million.
Are Manchester City potentially looking to replace Ederson with him this summer?
Could. I mean, I haven't heard that, but I don't know what Pep is going to want out of that. he wants the ball play. I mean, Diego Costa is not a ball. I mean, I'm not saying he's not a ball playing guy. He's not
a hybrid.
Lawyer. What's that?
He's a hybrid.
He's a hybrid, and everything, but he's not a sweeper keeper. He can play the ball with his feet, and the other guys are like the guy at not AC Milan, but I think it's Inter, Mike Mannion, the French goalkeeper. I mean, he's good. And to be honest, the other guy that I would think, and I have him up on the transfer market and what they say their price is the Brighton goalkeeper, Verbruggen.
Yeah.
He's a quality keeper. Like, look what he's doing with Brighton, and you could say maybe that's the team, but he makes saves. He's made saves against us. So, and he's Premier League proven. So, do you go out? Yeah. Do you go out and get him?
What price range are we looking at?
Verbruggen on transfer market, they say 25 million euros.
Yeah, so you probably add maybe 5 to 10 million on top of that.
Okay, so 30 to 35, that's still not terrible, and I mean, and then, I mean, again, you're going to divvy that up and everything like that. But, I mean, Verbruggen is – and I looked at his stats on SofaScore and everything like that. I mean, he's right there with your Diego Costas and your Mike Mannions and everything like that. So I would look at that. And the only other guy that I really like is the kid from Leverkusen, Kovar. Now, he's young. He's young, but he's 6'5". He's – I mean, look what he's done with Leverkusen and everything like that. And they played a similar style that we play now with Amarin, more of a 3-4-3. So he's going to have to play out from the back and everything. Because, like,
do you think while you mentioned that, do you think Amarin wants his goalkeeper to be as ball playing maybe as Eric Ten Hag did? Because I don't get that from him. You know what I mean?
No, I don't either.
But concerned about it.
I think he needs to be able to play with his feet, like, better than David De Gea ever could. But at the same time, like, I think what I've heard a lot from different content creators and stuff like that is we need someone that instills confidence in our defense, in our team. Yeah. And I think when you're looking at the Verbruggens or you're looking at the Costas or you're looking at the Mannions, those guys are going to command confidence. Now, I would like Verbruggen because he's Premier League proven, and he's only 22. So, you're talking about he's taken that step from being that 19-year-old unproven to now he's 22 and he's Premier League proven. Now, of course, it's different playing for Brighton than it is playing for United. But any goalkeeper you're going to get. I mean, unless you're going to go out and buy Manuel Neuer, any goalkeeper is going to have that problem.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but I like Verbruggen and I like Diego Costa a lot. Diogo Costa from Benfica, but from what I've heard, I mean, he's not going to be cheap, and there's going to be competition for him.
Yeah, 100%. Ben, where would you rank maybe getting a new goalkeeper on the priority list? I mean, again, like I said, we should always be in the market when something becomes available. But, I think I mentioned, was it today or yesterday? I mentioned it that I think it could be maybe a situation where this drags on to the latter stages of the window, maybe, and do we prioritize? Because if we're talking about maybe not having the type of funds that we can just go out and splash the cash, like remember when we brought in, like, was it Pogba we brought in for a world record fee, and then we brought in Lukaku as well, I think, wasn't it, for like 75 million on top of it? Them days are gone. I mean, they're well gone. How do we prioritize what we need in the summer, and where does the goalkeeper fall into that for you?
I wouldn't say it's priority now. I think that's more on Onana, isn't it? I think it's if an offer comes in for Onana and he wants to go, the money that we get for him is going to pretty much say what sort of keeper we can get. Like I say, main priority has got to be a striker, midfielder, a defender again. So I wouldn't say it's priority, but it could be come towards the later stages of the transfer window, like you say.
Yeah,
you're kind of fourth. You're saying, Chris?
Fourth on the list, if not fifth. I mean, I'll be honest. If I would be happy. I mean, I'd be fine. Not happy. I'd be fine with going with Bayender as the number one going in the season if we get rid of Onana. To be honest, I would. I mean, not is he a long-term answer? Everybody before everybody shoots me. Is he a long-term answer? No, but I think we can give him a shot, because the other thing you got to think about, if you give Bayender a shot and he does really well, we could either keep him or you can sell him off, and then you can go get the keeper that you want at that point. Because the other news that I heard is that Onana changed his agency, and the agency that he changed to has been known to get players deals in Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
So that news has come out that he changed agents and stuff. And
play the Shane O'Mac theme song there. Money, 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 money. Just happy days.
Even if you get, and I know that we spent money on Onana and everything like that, and you can talk about.
How much did we spend on Onana? Was it 60 million?
It's a good question. Let me look.
Keep going. I'll check it. Keep going. I'll check it.
But I look at it. Even if you can get, I think we did spend 60, but even if you can get 30 to 35, you can reinvest a lot of that into with multiplication and everything like that. He's played 2 years, so
43.8 million.
43 pounds, so about 50 something. So even if you got 35 to 40 from him from Saudi Arabia, which would be cheap from them, to be honest, you're going to be able to go out and get someone like a Verbruggen, or I don't know, Diego Costa. Like I said, he's going to probably be in the 40 to $50 million, million euro mark at that point.
Well, if you could get 35 million off of Saudi Arabia for Onana, and then reinvest that into Diogo Costa. And I know this, it sounds so simple when you're talking about it like this, but if you did have to spend 45 on Diogo Costa, that's a net spend of 10 million to get Diogo Costa in the door. That's good business, and I think that's how we have to kind of look at it. And I think an awful lot of deals this summer will be down to these kind of, who can we sell to get in, and what money can we, generate? Because I don't think it's going to be even as gung-ho as it was in Ten Hag's first summer, for example, where, it was chase, no backup. And, I think we'll be very structured with it.
Yeah. And I think so. And the one thing I've listened to, and I've listened to people talk about it, and I haven't done a lot of research, I should, but the multiplication of, when you buy Onana for 42 and, how much is it after the years, how much does it go down? But a lot of people don't take into account the money we've made off of Onana, not just by the years that are coming off, but the money we've made by the PR and everything that goes into goes against the price that no one takes into account.
Yeah, so somebody mentioned that. Someone done a report on that last week, I think, about all of the players and how much we would have to sell them for, not lose off them, in terms of what we pay.
Yeah, so I think that's an important thing. And, again, we only go off the information that we're given and everything, which is not all of it. So, I got to be honest, I think we're better off than we think we are. Do we have a lot of money? No. We understand that. But at the same time, I think we're better off than we think we are. But at the same time, there's options out there that you can go. And my thing is, we got sold a bill of goods with Onana that, he's a great ball playing keeper. Well, does that mean he can just play the ball with both feet? Or because we've seen it when he distributes the ball, it's not on the mark. It's not even close sometimes. You just look at it
the kind of 3/4 length passing, diagonal to the halfway line, they don't seem to work.
No, I'm when he tries to play the ball in the Hoyland, I feel bad for him because it's 10 to 15 yards on either side or behind him, and you're just like, well, I can't get and sometimes he overshoots them so bad. It's like, well, I can't go there because I'll be offsides. It's just it's not even close. And I'm just like, can he kick the ball with both feet? Does that make you a ball playing keeper?
Waza hit the nail on the head here. He says, if you can't trust your goalkeeper, then it's done. He says, I go for Lunan in Madrid or James Trafford. Both are great with their feet and commanding in the air and a good shot stopper. Eli Harrison should be our number 2. So there we go. Obviously, given Eli Harrison is in the academy, isn't he? Or no?
Yeah, he's in the academy. I've read good things about, what is it, Dermot Mee? Is he Irish?
Yeah.
Is he an Irish player or is he English?
If he was Irish, he would be we would have him in the fucking international team already. So I would presume he isn't. But in fairness to Ireland, we've got we're going through a very healthy phase of goalkeepers at the moment. Obviously, Queevy and Kelleher and Bazunu was our goalkeeper before that, doing really well in the Premier League for a couple of years. But yeah, look, it's going to be interesting, guys, to see what way we end up and who we're starting with as number one at the start of next season. D says Lunan from Madrid is a good shout. Costa would be my preference. Miguel says I miss Fred. He always puts in a shift. He does always put in a shift, in fairness. You can't deny that. Wazza says Costa is expensive, at least 35 mil, but Lunan we could get for about 25. And D then says 95 million euro and Al Witty, whatever, can have them. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you see, Saudi Arabia being linked with your players, you're going, let's go. Chris, anything to add before we move on from the goalkeepers? Any maybe other players you've been looking at or has caught your eye?
No, I mean, I think those are the top ones. I mean, I looked at the young guys, the kid from Lille, Lucas Chevrolet, and then, I mean, there's a couple other younger ones, but I mean, like you said, they're all young, 19, 20, and I mean, you got to be a phenom to come in to United at 19 or 20 and be the number one. Like,
I think it's the one area that United need to go out and sign as experienced a player as they can get.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think it's vital. And I think it's vital for confidence all the way up through the team. Because,
I mean, I'll be honest, like even if you went out and signed like Mike Mannion, the goalkeeper there, I mean, he's 32, but you don't have to sign him for 5 years.
We signed Jesus Christ, why can't I remember his name? He saved the penalty in the Champions League for us. His name has completely jumped out of my head. Van der Sar. We signed him at 35.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And he went on to win a European Cup. He's probably regarded by an awful lot, me as well, probably, as the greatest goalkeeper we've ever had. You know what I mean? So, go on.
I'm a Schmeichel fan, even though he did what he did at the end.
I don't know.
I think it was Rio and Vidic, weren't it? Rio and Vidic both said that Van der Sar talked him through the game.
Yeah. He did, yeah.
Which helps when you've got a keeper.
It does. But the one thing I would say about Schmeichel is that, look, I love Peter Schmeichel, absolute legend. But I don't know. I think he was slightly overrated. Like, if you look at what Van der Sar does and what people like. And I know it's the modern game. It's more so the modern game or whatever the case may be. But I just think Van der Sar was a more well-rounded goalkeeper.
I don't doubt that. I grew up a Schmeichel fan. Like,
yeah, so did I.
And I'll be honest with you. Like, I listened to the overlap when Casper Schmeichel was on. And if you saw it, and like he's class. And I'll be honest with you. Like, I'll be honest. If you wanted a stopgap, go sign Casper.
Oh no, Chris! I watched him the other night. No, I watched him against Portugal the other night. He's gone so slow. Oh my God! Like getting down for the ball. He looks like he's after putting on a bit of weight as well. And he dived for one of the goals, and I just like, instead of diving for the ball like that, he just went. I just literally didn't move across the goal, literally fell on the ground.
Okay.
So kind of sad to see. I was going, oh man, just, as Jamie Carragher said, leave the football before the football leaves you. You know what I mean?
I get it. And I mean, I haven't watched them. I mean, I didn't watch many international games because I don't like it.
And again, look, you go and you play up in the Scottish League and stuff like that. And I don't give a shite what anyone says. You do take the foot off the pedal when you've gone from the Premier League and these big games to the lesser divisions. But anyway, look, let's move on from the goalkeeper. We'll work our way up along in terms of who we're speaking about. But we're going to talk about Frimpong. Anybody who's watching, the title of the video, the thumbnail on it is Talks Underway. And some reports have come out today. I think it's from Graham Bailey, have said that Manchester United have, let me just see if I can find it here. They are saying that Manchester United have held talks with Frimpong's camp in recent weeks already. Now, Ben, I think it is clear that if we're looking at getting a right wing back in, this guy is top of the pops. You know what I mean? He is the number one choice. What do you think the likelihood is of, one, he leaves Leverkusen, which I think is probably high, to be honest with you, after the season they had. But 2, that he comes to Manchester United, given maybe some of the other teams that are going to be in for him.
I can't say we'd be the favourites to get him. I think we know that, don't we? I think as fans we know that. It's just hoping that he does come. Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? It's one of them things, isn't it, now? The 100 million players, we're not going to sign them, are we? Yeah. We're not that team at the minute. I think we need to go and spend the money wisely like we have been doing. Getting your 30, 40 million, get a team built, and then you go for your big players.
Yeah, sprinkle 1 or 2 big players in.
He only has a $42 million release clause.
This guy. Oh, yeah.
That's what I mean, though. But in terms of the other clubs that can come in for him, is he going to be like, am I going to go to Man U or am I going to go there? Which it's his choice. Is he a Man U lad? That's the question, isn't it?
Did he come up to the City Academy?
He did, didn't he? So that's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
As much as we'd love him to come, I can't see it.
Well, the one concern that I would have about maybe him choosing us is, and maybe the likelihood of it, is the fact that, Chris, that he's at Leverkusen now, which has been a kind of what's the word? They've been kind of revolutionized under Xavi Alonso, and they were unbeaten bar 1 game, I think, last season. Is he willing to come and start again at Manchester United, maybe as a project? Now, look, who are we to say that? Again, geez, it would be fantastic if all of a sudden United went on a title charge next season. I don't see it happening. But, stranger things have happened. Leicester have won the league. Liverpool have walked the league this year after not looking anywhere close to it last year. Is he going to come to Manchester United to potentially put in a 2 or 3 year rebuild before we're back challenging, hopefully?
Yeah, and that's where I would say I'd have to say no. I mean, as much as I'd want him to come, I would say that he's in his career where he wants to challenge for titles.
Yeah.
Whether it be Champions League or just any league title at that point. He won one with Leverkusen already. So does he want, like you said, does he want to come in for a rebuild or, the beginning of it and go from there? Now, the one thing I can say is, like, if he came in, he's guaranteed playing time. He'll be the first choice. I mean, if we were going to go after Frimpong, then you sell Diego Dalot. Easy. I mean, so if you sell Diego Dalot for 30 to 35, and then net wise, you got the $42 million release clause, and you're only shelling out 10 million at that point, 7 million, somewhere in there. Yeah. Then that's a no-brainer for me. But again, like Ben said, does he want to come here? Are we his first choice? Or if Real Madrid comes knocking at the door, does he go to Madrid? Where it's a little bit.
Well, now that you've mentioned it, we do have a lovely little rumor that's going on the last couple of days that good old Trent is off to Real Madrid. So I don't see Frimpong going there as well. And I do have to say it, by the way, Liverpool fans are an absolute disgrace. So they are, with the treatment that they have given Trent online over the last day or so, since whenever it broke. It's been absolutely crazy. I can't believe it, to be quite honest with you. Calling him a sellout and a cheapskate and a turncoat and all this. Like, basically, he has won everything he could possibly win for Liverpool. And I think I don't think he ran down his contract on purpose, to be honest with you. I think he wants to play for Real Madrid, and he's well within his rights to doing that. But him and everybody else knows that Madrid will just go, all right, well, we'll just wait. And
exactly.
That's it. They've done it with Mbappe. Why wouldn't they do it with Trent Alexander-Arnold? And for Liverpool fans to be coming out and saying, he stabbed us in the back for going for free. Idiots.
Yeah, but I'll poke at Liverpool fans too. What if Arne Slot doesn't want him?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, that's the other part of this, that you don't ever hear from them saying, oh, well, it's all Trent's fault. Well, Trent's not the one. He doesn't write his own contract. He's like, if Arne Slot is sitting there going, Well, I'm not going to spend the money. We don't want to spend the money on him because he's going to demand a decent wage, a good wage, and everything like that.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, as good as he is going forward, he's just as bad going back. So maybe he doesn't want him at that point. So I think that's one of those things where fans are like not being honest with themselves, saying like, I'd be honest, if as well as Arne Slot has done this year with Liverpool coming in after Jurgen Klopp and everything like that, if he wanted him, they would have given him a contract already.
I know it's a United podcast and all of that, but I just have a feeling, oh God, I hope I'm right, that Liverpool are going to absolutely implode next season.
Could.
I think this could be the domino that starts, I think Salah's going to go, to be quite honest with you. I think Van Dijk could potentially stay, although there has been links with him and PSG, and you see him talking to the PSG, was it president or someone like that in the tunnel in Anfield. Oh, it'd be so sweet, wouldn't it?
It would. I mean, but they're gonna retool. But I think they've been talking. So if you look at them, and I know we don't want to talk about Liverpool too much, but you're gonna get, if Van Dijk goes, Trent goes, and they've been talking about getting rid of Robbo for a while.
Yeah,
Andy Robertson. So now you got left back, right back, like center back. Like
I seen something online today, and I'm not sure whether I agree with it or not, but I'm leaning towards I am agreeing with it. Have they ever signed a world-class player, Liverpool? And the argument is that Liverpool that Liverpool don't have the pulling power that other clubs have. They've never gone out and signed a world-class striker or world-class player. What are you doing awake? Don't go in now. This is a podcast. I can't have this now. All right.
But I think that.
But my point being, Chris, was that do they have the pulling power to go? Like, name me one established world-class player that they've ever signed. I couldn't find one. Like, you talk Salah and you talk Mane, but they were on the come up when they signed for Liverpool. They never went. I can't remember a player that they signed that was top of their game when they signed them in history. Well, you could go back to Kenny Dalglish or whatever. I don't know, but
no, we'll stay in the modern game, and but does that buy into that was Jurgen Klopp's MO, where he didn't sign. That was the manager that he didn't sign the world class player because he didn't want to spend the money. And not that he did it, but they didn't want to spend the money, so he would put out targets that said that he could make them into what they are and everything.
Oh, yeah, and look, I'm not knocking that either. I think we've spoke an awful lot on this channel about going out and trying to sign players that haven't hit their heights yet, but have a fucking very strong chance of within a season or two of being up there, with the best in the world. And I think Liverpool have been good at doing that in the last.
They have, and I gotta be honest, they have. And as much as I don't want to give them credit, they have done that. And but again, that goes back into, what Ten Hag talked about when he first came and everything, is that everything that goes into getting a new manager and how everything changes within the club, because the academy changes, the strategy changes, the formations change, how you what you're teaching the academy kids, because now you're going to do a 3-4-3 with Amrin. You're looking at different players than what Erik Ten Hag wanted in the academy. And now all of a sudden, now everything changes at that point. So it's tough. I mean, and look, how long was Klopp there? 8 years?
Yeah, 8 or 9, I think. Yeah, something like that.
So 8 or 9. So now towards the end of it is where you start to, towards the last 3-4 years is when you really see the fruits of your labor at that point, and I think that goes into it. And like we always talk about, we can't be successful if we're changing our manager every 2 to 2.5 years.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not possible.
Yeah.
We're not, 100%. And we're not. And a friend of mine, Edmund, that's he's a subscriber to the channel. He made a good point to me the other day because we were out to dinner and we were talking about it. It's like it's very hard with where Man United is right now, a la like a Rashford and Amrin, where Rashford's making $20 million a season, Amrin's making $5 million a season, but the $5 million guy has to tell the $20 million guy what to do and how to do it and change his ways. and do it. And he can, and Rashford can, not that Rashford would do this. I'm just using it as an analogy, but he's going to sit there and go, no.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, I'm not going to do that. So, and I'm going to stay here because you're paying me. So, I mean, I think that's where Ineos is trying to do. They're trying to get rid of those salaries, those wages, because now you're bringing in the players that you can mold into what you want, and I think that's the big, we have to look at it and say, that's the big change in United, and we're going to have to suffer through it a little bit.
Absolutely. I agree. Right, guys, we're going to finish up with the freedom fighter himself, Jadon Sancho. Jadon Mandela. Some people have been calling him, and the comedy that is his career at the moment. Look, we've heard during the week that potentially Chelsea could pay $5 million to renege on the obligation to buy in the summer. And if any club would do that, it would be Chelsea. It really, really would. And we've heard today was it today or yesterday from Bild that he has handed in a transfer request to his management now, that he wants to go back to Borussia Dortmund, back home where it's cozy and safe, where nobody can get him, and he can just tiptoe and do a lot of step overs and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, my point being is, if he wants out of Chelsea and he wants to go back to Borussia Dortmund, what are Chelsea going to do? Are Chelsea going to go, we don't want, because some reports have suggested that they're going to buy him off United and then flip him in the same summer, a few weeks later, which I think would be a really good business, but really hard to do. Or are they just going to go, United, here's $5 million. He's your problem now, What's your thoughts on it, Ben? I'll go to you first on it. I mean, do you think he comes back to United?
No, but on the same thing is, will Borussia Dortmund want him back?
Can they afford him? Is he going?
Yeah, but it's not that they've seen his antics, haven't they?
Yeah.
Are they going to want somebody like that going into their club?
I mean, he's a blight. He's just not like. There's no redeeming quality of taking that kid.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and I go back to this, and I've always said this about Sancho, is that when he played at Dortmund and he had those, 17 goals and 17 assists, who was he passing the ball to up top?
Exactly.
I mean, I mean,
the one thing I would say, Chris, as well is, and I mentioned it this morning as well, was, What must he be thinking when the club that he's currently playing for are willing to pay £5 million for you not to be there anymore?
Exactly. 100%. Supposedly, though, he's on good terms with management and everything, and that, but I look at it this way and I go, I don't think Chelsea would do that, because I was listening to some other people and they said that in every obligation to buy, there is always a back out clause. Just no one ever does it, because you're basically doing business in bad faith at that point. And
no one will ever loan you or, take a player from you on loan again.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've read that and I've listened to him say that, I think that Chelsea would bite the bullet and pay the 25 and then try to flip him to Dortmund for 26 or something like that. Or, or just make it happen and get him out and everything like that. Because I don't think you want to have that kind of, because it's not just between Chelsea and United. All of a sudden, now you're going to deal with all the Premier League clubs like, hey, we're going to give you this guy with we're going to loan you, obligation to buy, blah, blah, blah. But look what you did to United if it doesn't work out. Like no one's going to want to do business with you at that point. So I really don't think they would do that. If they did, bold move, and now we're stuck. And then we sit there and go,
give them $1 million to keep him.
Yeah.
I mean, the kid's damaged goods. Like,
yeah. I
don't even know, like, if all the reports are true, how do you go out and play at Stamford Bridge? Like,
yeah.
I mean, that's hard. Like, I would because everybody in the stand, we don't want you.
Yeah, well, it just goes to show where he is at the moment, and when when there are two clubs there vying not to have you, I think that says everything about, where your career has gone, and you know what I mean. But anyway, guys, look, I think we'll leave it there, because I've got a little fella upstairs now who's wide awake that I have to go and try and get to sleep. So if I don't, I'll be killed. But lads, as always, I appreciate you coming on. Thanks a mil, as always. And look, we've got a busy week coming up. Obviously, we're back to playing football next Tuesday as well. So,
are you doing hot takes this week or no?
Hot takes. I'm trying to get it set up for tomorrow night. Obviously, I couldn't do it last night, but I'm trying to get Adam for tomorrow. I'm working on one other guy as well to come on, so I'll know by tomorrow. But if not, I'll do a news show or whatever the case may be.
Okay.
But lads, as always, appreciate you coming on, and I'll chat to you during the week. All right.
No worries. Catch you later.
And as always, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Please do hit the like and subscribe button if you're watching live on YouTube. It helps the channel out an awful lot. If you're listening back to this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or anywhere else you get your podcast, please do give us a 5-star review. Hit that follow button. It helps the channel out an awful lot. Hope you have a great rest of your week. We'll be back with this podcast same time next week. Thanks for listening, and I'll chat to you soon. Take care.